All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are tackling a question that has seriously jumped from the pages of science fiction into real, actual debate. The big one, are we living in a computer simulation?
And it really starts with little things like this. This comment from a Reddit forum just perfectly nails the vibe right now. We've all gotten so used to the language of video games that we're starting to use it to explain, well, reality. You feel dizzy? Nah, maybe it's just the universe's processor dropping frames.
So that's the central question we're really digging into. And not as a joke, not as a cool movie plot, but as a serious possibility. And believe it or not, there's a surprisingly solid logical argument behind it.
Yeah, movies have definitely made this idea famous. But for the next few minutes, we're going to look past the sci-fi posters and get into the academic argument that kind of forces us to take this whole thing seriously. An argument that has some pretty huge implications for, well, everything.
So why now? Why does this question feel so present? Why are so many people, from tech billionaires to you and me on Reddit, suddenly asking it?
Well, the clues are kind of all around us, aren't they? Video games are looking more and more like real life. VR can literally trick our brains. We have weird coincidences, moments of déjà vu, and then there's quantum physics, which sometimes feels less like reality and more like, I don't know, clever code.
But here's the real kicker. This quote gets right to the heart of it. The most powerful reason to think we might be in a simulation is the simple fact that we're getting really, really good at making them ourselves. And that idea? That's the doorway to the whole formal argument.
So this gut feeling builds into what is honestly one of the most mind-bending arguments of our time. Back in 2003, a philosopher named Nick Bostrom laid out what's now known as the simulation trilemma. And it all starts with a couple of really core ideas.
First up is this concept called substrate independence. Okay, stick with me. The basic idea is that your consciousness, the thing that is you, isn't some kind of magic tied to your squishy brain. It's more like a really, really complex piece of software. And just like you can run software on different kinds of computers, consciousness could, theoretically, run on something other than a brain, like a powerful silicon-based computer.
The second idea is what Bostrom calls an ancestor simulation. So picture a future civilization way more advanced than us, what he calls post-human. With insane amounts of computing power, they might want to run super detailed simulations of their ancestors, people just like us, to learn about their own history.
And when we say insane computing power, we mean it's just staggering. Bostrom estimates that a computer the size of a single planet could perform 10 to the power of 42 calculations per second. That's a 10 with 42 zeros after it. I mean, we can't even really wrap our heads around a number that big. But it would be more than enough to run billions and billions of these ancestor simulations at the same time.
Okay, so this brings us to the main event, the trilemma. Bostrom's argument is that, based on pure logic, one of these three things has to be true. Number one, humanity just dies out before we ever get that advanced. Game over. Number two, we get super advanced, but for whatever reason, future civilizations have zero interest in running simulations of their past. Or, number three, we are almost certainly living inside a computer simulation right now. The logic is actually just a numbers game. It's all about probability. If the first two options are false, meaning we survive and future humans do run tons of these simulations, then the number of simulated people, like us, would be way, way bigger than the number of original biological people. So, if you're a conscious being, the odds are overwhelmingly stacked in favor of you being one of the simulated minds, not one of the originals.
Now, I know this might all sound like some wild, abstract philosophy, but here's where it gets really interesting. We are no longer just thinking about building simulated worlds. We are actually doing it. Yeah, this isn't theory anymore. Right now, all around the world, we are building the early, primitive versions of the exact same ancestor simulations that Bostrom was talking about.
And we're not just talking about games here. Virtual reality is being used for some incredibly profound things. It helps soldiers with PTSD. It helps burn victims deal with unimaginable pain by putting them in a relaxing virtual world. It's training surgeons. It even helps people build empathy by letting them literally see the world from another person's point of view. We are creating digital realities that have very real effects on people.
And as we become the creators of these worlds, we basically have to become their gods. I mean, look at this. This framework shows that VR developers today are already wrestling with the ethics of their creations, thinking about things like consent, justice, and how to prevent harm inside their virtual worlds. The same big questions our future creators might face, we're already asking them now.
So let's bring it all back to that trilemma. Knowing what we know, seeing the path we're already on, where does that leave us? Which of those three possibilities is our actual reality?
Well,
The choices are pretty intense. If we're not in a simulation, then that probably means we're doomed. Or, at the very least, any future human civilization that survives will be so different from us that they won't care at all about their history. But if we are in a simulation, then this whole universe, it's not the real one, and our creators might be running millions of others just like it. Heck, we could be in a simulation that's inside another simulation.
So think of it this way. There are 3 doors in front of humanity. The logic of the trilemma says we have to be behind one of them. Door number 1, extinction. Door number 2, a future where nobody cares about the past. And door number 3, we are the simulation.
So I have to ask you, standing here in what Bostrom calls the dark forest of our current ignorance, you have to place your bet somewhere. Which of those 3 doors seems most likely to you?
And I'm going to leave you with the final, powerful sentence from Bostrom's paper because it just sums it all up perfectly. Believing that we're going to one day create these amazing simulations, and also believing that we're not in one right now, those 2 ideas just don't logically work together. And that's a thought that leaves you with a pretty profound question about the very nature of reality itself.